Ooh, that looks tasty.
My fellow dwarves, the time has come. Fafnir is upon us, and your king needs you. Yes, even you, Sindri. Join me. What do you mean Bela was already here? They offered you 2 coins? Well, what if I give you 3 coins? 2 liters of fresh goat milk in a plastic bag and a bottle of fresh maple syrup. Now, are you in?
Welcome, folks. Today the Hungry Gamer is back with another game review, and today we're talking about Nidavellir, designed by Serge Leger, with art by Jean-Marie Minguez, and published by Hachette Games. And I do apologize if I mispronounced any of those names, and thank you to Hachette Games for sending me a copy. Now, before I get started, please make sure you turn on your Klingon subtitles, because if I make any mistakes in the rules overview, that's where you'll find those corrections. And thank you to Canadian Kev for helping out with today's voiceover introduction. Now, what Nidavellir is it is a set collection game in which you are taking on the role of a dwarf trying to recruit the bravest army of dwarves from all that you see here, plus these 2 decks over here, to go out and fight the dragon Fafnir. Then whichever player gets the bravest army will earn the right to send their army out to face the dragon. And as I said, you'll be doing that through a bidding and set collection mechanic. Now, if you're not interested in how this game is played and just want to jump into my final thoughts, then you will go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played. So each player is going to have their own player board, like this right here. In addition to that, they will have 5 coins that they are starting the game with, and those go 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then out on the board, you'll see there are 3 different taverns, and along with that, there are a bunch of legends that you can potentially recruit into your army, as well as some distinctions up here, which will be given to you by the king when you get to the mid game. Now, I'll also say that the game comes with stands for all these cards to actually stand up, but that's obviously very hard to see. Additionally, you'll see this here. This is where you're going to be able to upgrade your coins to better coins, and it comes with these little bleachers looking things here that hold all of the different coins. Now, the game is simple enough. Each player on their turn is going to be able to draft a single dwarf from each of the different taverns. And I have the game set up here for a 3-player game. In a 4 or 5-player game, you would have 1 dwarf per player in each tavern, so you will never have to go without anything. And what you're going to wind up doing, let me move this one aside here, is going to use their board here to make bids on the 3 different taverns. And whoever puts the highest bid for each tavern will get first choice of the dwarf that is there. So just for the sake of argument, we'll just say that I put the 4 there at the Goblin Tavern, I put my 0 here at the Dragon Tavern, and at the Pony Tavern I put my 5. Now these would be placed face down, and also each player has one of these gems at the top of the board, which is used for tiebreakers, but I'm not going to get into that. And then the other 2 coins, they would place here at the bottom of their board. And of course, all these would be placed face down. Once everyone is done, you then go through in order, starting with the top of your board. Whoever has the highest value then gets to draft a card from that particular tavern. And you go through and through and through. At the end of each tavern drafting, if players wound up with a tie, you look at who has the higher number gem here, and whoever's a higher number gets to go first. Then the people who had tied the highest and lowest numbers would then have to switch them. Now, the other thing that's important, though, as you're going through, is this 0 coin. This 0 coin means, yes, you're going to pick last, but you get to upgrade your other coins. So I would then be able to take my 2 and my 3, I add those together for a 5. Then I take my number 3, which is the higher of the 2. I would discard that from the game, and I'd reach up and I would get a 5 coin, and now I have permanently upgraded my particular treasure stash for recruiting dwarves later on. And then I will also point out that the red coins get discarded from the game when you upgrade them. The gold coins actually go back into the little bleachers that I showed you earlier. And you'll be able to draft a hero. Now, how do you draft a hero? Well, that's actually extremely simple. Once you have gotten 1 dwarf of each color, and when you do that, you put them in columns that are of the same color, like so. Well, and once you have gotten the last color in a row, so in other words, you'll see now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors going across, then I'm able to draft any of the different legends that I would like. And they may be ones like this, which simply give you more of these little banners, and I'll talk about those when I talk about how scoring works, or you may be getting something that is totally grayed out, like the Dwarg brothers here. And the ones that are grayed out are going to have different things that they do. The Dwarg brothers, which are probably my favorite, if you get all 5, you'll see at the end of the game, they are worth a whole bunch of points. But they all do different kinds of things, from being worth simply a lot of points, to letting you upgrade one of your coins, to pretty much everything. And you're going to go through until the first stack of cards runs out. Then you would go through and you would do the next stack, which has the 2 gems on the back, but for the most part, everything is the same on the inside. However, before you get to the second stack, you have to go through and award distinctions from the king. Whichever dwarven leader the king thinks is doing the best, recruiting each of the different types of dwarves will get a distinction. And that is what these cards are here. And so you start with the warriors. And whoever has the most simply gets to upgrade one of their coins by 5. Nice and simple. Then you have the hunters. And the hunters get to trade out their 0 coin for this 3 coin. And this works exactly like the 0, except it means that when they play this 3, they're able to upgrade one of their coins, which just makes their upgrade more powerful than everybody else's. The miners gives you this right here, which means you always win ties and it's worth 3 points at the end of the game. Then there's the blacksmiths, which simply gives you another card that gives you extra purple banners. And then we have the explorers, which allows you to draw 3 cards from the next deck, keep 1, and then shuffle the next 2 in. Now, let's quickly talk about how the scoring is going to work at the end of the game. For both the green and the blue, you're simply going down this track. As you'll see here, I have 3 greens, which would be worth 9 points, and I have 1 purple, which is worth 3 points. Then the red is worth whatever number is on all the red cards added up. So in this case here, 23. And then if you have the most red banners, you also get to add in the value of your highest coin, which in this case in my hand is a 5. So that means at the end of the game, that'd be worth 28 points. Blue is very simple. You just add them all up. And the orange, you're going to add up the numbers on the banners. In this case, we have 3, and multiply by the number of banners total. So in this case, 3 times 2 is 6. If I were to add this one in here, I would have 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 times 5, or 20 points. Then at the end of the game, you'll simply add up all of your points, and whoever has the high score wins. So, what do I like about this game? The first thing is, in something that is completely shocking to me, I really like the way the game looks. And I know that sounds crazy because in general, I don't like black and white. I tend to like stuff that's going to pop and just jump out at you, but there's something about these dwarves that I really like. Maybe it's because I just like dwarves in general, I don't know, but I just really enjoy them. I like looking at their names and all of those different things, and I just like them. The next thing is, as I say all the time, I like that this game is really simple. It is really easy to play and teach somebody. In fact, the first time I actually played it, I taught it and we played twice in about an hour and 20 minutes, something like that, maybe even less. It's just really, really, really fast. And it doesn't really matter how many players that you have. It always is a good, fast experience. I also think that as far as set collection games go, this is it my favorite? I don't know. It might be my favorite. I don't know. I'll probably have to play it another 20, 30 times before I can call it my favorite or not. But the point is, I really like the set collection because there's not so many different things that you're doing that it becomes confusing. There's just the 5 different ways that you're going to score. Well, I guess a few more if you add in the grayed out legendary heroes. But you get the idea. At its core, there's just a few different things that you're doing. You have the warriors, you have the explorers, you have the blacksmiths, you have the miners, and you have the hunters. And they're 5 different things, and they're all different. Some of them are kind of close, but they're all very different how they work, and it's just that simple. And I like that because it makes the game move. You don't have a lot of stopping, trying to figure out what it is that one particular dwarf is going to do, what the combo is going to be. I really, really like that. But what I like the most, and is what makes this game, I think, as popular as it is, and makes me want to keep going back and playing again and again and again, is this right here. This 0 coin and the way that you're able to use that. And yes, you're not going to get something as good, but then you're able to take that and turn your other coins into something bigger is awesome. It's just awesome. I don't know why every game doesn't do that. Maybe there's other games that do that. I don't know, but I love it. It is such an awesome thing when you're playing and you're trying to figure out what each other person around the table is trying to get. And also, I appreciate how simple it is to kind of just quickly scan the table and see what everybody has. And you're trying to figure out which different thing they're going to go for. And that gives you this other part of the game where you're trying to figure out, okay, where can I use my 0? Because for most of the game, you're going to want to play your 0 early on. And I just find it to be a blast. I love it. I love it. I love it. Even down to the way that if there's a coin missing on that little bleachers there, and say there are no 7s up there, in fact, there's no 8s or no 9s, and you have something that adds up to a 7, you get to jump all the way up to the 10. And so that's even more of the game. You're looking at the little bleachers with all the coins and saying, if I do this now and I do this right, I'm going to even get a better coin. It's great. I love it. So very much, I love it. And really, the thing about it is that there are no wasted rules or wasted actions or wasted anything in the game. It's just so very tight. Everything, even down to the way the coins work, down to the way ties are broken, down to the way there's the half game distinctions that you're passing out. All of it just works fantastically. But it doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows. What are my quibbles with the game? And I don't actually have a ton, as you can probably guess from my initial raving there about how wonderful it is. But there are a few. The first thing is, it is, a lot of math that you're doing at the end, a lot of adding stuff up, and I know there are some people that just don't like to do that. They don't like to have to stop and add things up by 3s and 5s and 10s and 12s, and they wind up with some 300 some odd points at the end of the game. Some people really don't like that, because for some people, it may feel like you're taking as long to do your math at the end of the game as it did to actually play the whole game. It's an exaggeration, but that is a thing that maybe might bother you. The next thing is, there's not a lot to this game. There's not. I explained, I probably, between this right now and the rules overview, I've probably covered the entire game. All of the rules with the exception of what do the individual grayed out heroes do. Everything I've already covered. And that may impact the longevity the game has on your shelf. Now, there is an expansion called Thingdeveer, something like that. I don't know. It's probably right there, right now, which I don't have. I probably am gonna get because the idea of adding just 1 or 2 more mechanics that makes this game even more exciting to me. But what I'm saying is, you might feel like you have to get this and the expansion to really have a game that might last for a long time. Now, I don't know that that's the case, because like I said, I really did like this game as a set collection game, and I want to have it just bust it out. I want to play it right now if I can. But that might fade over time, so you might feel like you have to get the expansion, which might mean that the game suddenly, for a simple quick set collection game, becomes pricier than you want to pay. I don't know. That's kind of up to you to decide, but I guess it's always up to you to decide. But you're here, you're still watching me babble on and on and on, so clearly you're curious what I think. And then the last thing that I will say is, as much as I like the theme, I love dwarves, and I like the idea you're making the bravest army. The victory points are bravery, not points. And whoever's the bravest gets to go off and probably die, which I think is just gloriously funny that you're trying to be the one to win so you can be the one to die. The theme could be something else. Like, I love looking at the dwarves. I love that you're spinning the coins in the taverns, and all of that makes sense. But at the end of the day, it could be a sports team trying to get the best players. It could be, well, almost anything. And so the theme is not really that tight into the game. And so that might be something that bothers you. You might be seeing, all these awesome dwarves, and then you don't actually really do anything dwarfy. So just something to keep in your brain as you're considering this game. But there you have it, folks. That is Nidavellir. I like this one a lot. I really like this one a lot. I am disappointed that I don't have the expansion right now. I will probably rectify that at some point in the near future after I played it a few more times. And I gotta say, if you like set collection games, then there's a lot that are far, far worse than this one that you can do. I think it takes set collection, It's nice, simple, easy, fun, and then by adding in those coins, the way those coins work, I think it really kicks this game up a notch. I really enjoy this one. It's one that I'm really looking forward to playing more of. So there you have it, folks. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview at the beginning, please let me know in the comments with a timestamp. I'll get that into the Klingon subtitles. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.